Díre Chocontuio, Volta G, Global Impact.
Hello from Vermont in the United States. Welcome to Global Impact.
Hola, mi nombre es Sheila Escobedo. Me encuentro en la ciudad de Guatemala. Bienvenidos a la conferencia de Impacto Global.
مرحبا من اسطنبول وأهلا وسهلا بجلوبال إمباكت.
مرحبا، معكم سوسن من شيكاغو فلسطين. أهلا وسهلا بجلوبال إمباكت.
Saludos desde Santiago en Chile y bienvenido o bienvenida a Global Impact.
Hello from White Plains, New York in the United States. Welcome to Global Impact.
Pozdrowienia z Glasgow w Szkocji. Witaj w Global Impact.
Hello from Charlotte, North Carolina in the United States. Welcome to Global Impact.
Hello et bonjour from Alberta, Canada. Welcome to Global Impact.
Hello from Montreal and welcome to Global Impact.
Hello from Houston, Texas in the United States. Welcome to Global Impact.
Hello from Lynchburg, Virginia in the United States. Welcome to Global Impact.
Tina koto katoa, no mai harimai ki te Global Impact. He mihi nui kia koto mai I turanga nui a kiwa Aotearoa.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Priya Kennedy, je suis la chef du conseil étudiante à l'école d'Ostali et je vous souhaite la bienvenue à la conférence sur l'impact international.
Hi, my name is Sophie. I'm the sub-head girl student council at a school called The Study based in Montreal. We hope that you enjoy the Global Impact Conference.
Yes.
Welcome to the Global Impact Virtual Conference. I am Jonathan Marland and I'm a member of the Global Impact Organising Team and I'm the host for this session. This year, the human story, putting human stories back at the heart of education. Through amplifying global educator voices, we will be exploring storytelling as pedagogy, leadership, and ethical technical use, connecting classrooms worldwide and centering dignity, equity, and lived experience learning. We want to begin with a message of peace in these turbulent times. At Global Impact, we believe that education is one of the more powerful forces for peace in the world. Across borders, languages, and cultures, we come together not to agree on everything, but to listen, to learn, and to build something better together. In a time where division is easy, we choose connection. In a world that often speaks loudly, we choose to understand deeply. Each voice in this conference represents not just a country, but a commitment to compassion, curiosity, and shared humanity. Peace is not something we wait for. It is something we practice through dialogue, through collaboration, and through the work that we do with our students every day. This is our global impact. I am honored to be part of the Global Impact community. Today, we have 34 presenters, 17 organizers working behind the scenes, all representing 22 countries across 6 different continents. And that doesn't include all of you, the incredible participants taking part in today's sessions. When people from this many backgrounds and experiences come together, powerful things happen. Today isn't just about sharing ideas, it's about sparking connections, challenging perspectives, and driving meaningful change forward. Now on to our session. This session is in English. If you need to put on the captions, please do so by following the directions on the screen. We have had an incredible lineup of speakers today, and this session's presenter is one of them. I have the pleasure of introducing Berna Aslan, who is a dreamer, curious learner, maker, gamer, and teacher trainer. She has been an English teacher at various levels since 2006 and has spent the last 8 years as an IPWYP teacher. She is a lifelong learner who believes in the power of mistakes. Her passion for technology and games has led her to complete numerous programs, earning titles such as Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, Google Educator, and Apple Professional Learning Specialist. As a global schools advocate, she works on integrating the Sustainable Development Goals into the curriculum. Her teaching and research interests include education technologies, education for sustainable development, material development, climate education, gamification, game-based learning, inquiry-based learning, storytelling, social emotional learning, visible thinking, strategies, problem solving, critical and creative thinking skills, differentiation, and growth mindset. I have to say, wow, so far. In 2019, she delivered a tech talk, or TEDx talk, entitled Loading Game Virus, exploring the power of play, curiosity, and learning culture in schools. Berna is also a finalist in the Global Agents of Change category for the She Inspires Awards 2025. She is especially proud of her student-led projects and PYB exhibition processes, including global collaborations such as The Rights of Every Child, where children's voices are elevated through shared storytelling and action beyond the classroom. Berna, how do you have time to do all that? So I'll push it over to you now, so I can now take a break after reading all that. So Berna, take it away.
Thanks a lot. Hi, everyone. So thank you very much for the great introduction. So today I just wanted to share some of the strategies or some of the learning experience that I have had from my students saying from can I to watch me doing it. So I just want to tell one thing about myself, that I'm a 4th grade IB English teacher. So whatever I'm actually sharing with you, that's coming from that background. My initial question that I started thinking about was what happens when we stop leading for students and actually start leading with them. Today, we have seen so many examples of this, which was so inspiring. So right now, wherever you are, just think about this question, or if you want to write on the chat box, please do go for it. So I want to share some of the experiences and strategies of what does a Changemaker classroom look like, sound like, feel like, and think like. As you can see, I'm a primary school teacher. So first of all, I think a Changemaker classroom is something we co-create through the mindset we model every day. So just before everything else, I think it's the mindset of a teacher of how they see the education. And when we actually talk about what does it look like, I think it's not just teaching about change, but it's how it embodies it. So even like from flexible seating, where students created tools and co-owned spaces for thinking and collaboration, to learning walls, action boards, and provocation. So I think a classroom where learners, as I said, move from can I to watch me. And I'm going to share a few examples about this. I do believe in the power of a provocation. So I think with the provocation, students feel more natural to take action. And as we know, provocations can be experiences or a question or a visual or a video that you share with your students in the beginning or throughout your learning experience. So one example that I'm going to share is from our Sharing the Planet unit. As you can see, this is my classroom. And as I said in the beginning, I'm an English teacher. So, but at the same time, I'm actually helping them to inquire into different contexts. So in this context, we were inquiring into having responsibilities towards the environment. And we started the lesson as an experience with lights going off. And as you can see, my sink is already closed. The lights are closed. And they actually have over here, you can see some big envelopes, that they have envelopes coming from the overflowing vent, Farrah faucet, or the lights. So throughout the day, the kids didn't have any lights. The kids couldn't use the faucet, and they actually had to immediately, when they come in, as you can imagine, they were all surprised, like what's happening. So they were already into the learning experience. And after reading this, and as you can see, by the way, all these are our language goals, which was the 2nd or the 3rd lesson that we focused, not that day. But immediately when they read this letter from the overflowing fan, Farrah the faucet, they started thinking about how can we get them back working. So they immediately started taking action. And throughout the unit, they have actually had a chance to explore what they want to take action on. And this is a part, as you can see on the right side. So this was sharing the planet. So they actually focused on climate change and things that they want to change again. So they started writing to our principal. Because the provocation started with a letter, they actually started doing the letter themselves. So on the left side, again, you can see your scared friend Cookie, who is actually writing to the testers. So as you can see, this was about animal protection. So this child particularly chose to work and take action on this, but it all sparked and ignited with that one experience. So throughout the unit, they made their posters, and as you can see, they connected with the Sustainable Development Goals. They actually wanted one group who wanted to work on climate change. They actually learned from Fridays for Future how to take action, and they wanted to do a protest. So they actually wrote to our HR to come and support us. So they have become the change makers themselves. As a teacher, the only thing that I provided them was the letter, to be honest. So another group, again in the same unit, they wanted to focus on food waste. So as teachers, this was our provocation. So we noticed that the kids were consuming over-consuming. So we started actually creating a waste chart. And as you can see over here, the students started scraping off their food. And then each week we actually weighed how much. And one of our students, again, wrote to Enka teachers, where I work at, by the way, to help us, because one of the reasons why they were also getting too much food was the teachers actually wanted them to get from every type of food. So this was a part, again, the student noticed and started taking action. So there's a tweet again. It's still working, by the way. So the kids, because this happened like 2 years ago, I guess. So they said that how can we make our voice heard? We don't want only to be heard in our school, but we want to share this message. So during that time, all these images, by the way, they're not from Twitter, but they are actually created by TweetGen, because my kids are 9-year-olds and they cannot use social media. So we created these tweets, and then as teachers, we asked ourselves, like, they want to share this with the whole world. How can we? So as a teacher group, we created an account where we shared our students' work, of course, with the data privacy. This one, again, unfortunately, the food consumption is a problem. So this is another year. I think this was last year. So the food consumption became a bigger problem. So in this unit that year, we said, okay, let's focus solely on this. So as you can see, again, this is our lunch hall. So the kids came into the lunch hall and they saw these food going on strike. And again, food has written them the letters. So this is from the Fearless Foods. And as you can see on the right side, the food are going on strike. So this time, the kids again immediately started coming up with ways that they can make the food come back again, or they can actually eat even that day. And as we always say, change is not an easy process. Sometimes they need to feel disturbed. They need to feel this poke so that they can make it change. And this is how they started their food consumption project. And as I said, a change-making classroom, there should be multiple ways for kids to express themselves. It should be their own environment. As you can see, one thing that this is just a classroom tip that covering the whole table actually helped them brainstorm more. Like during the lesson, if they came up with an idea of something that they wanted to do, this is how it worked. And again, I think classrooms should be living and breathing spaces where student voice leads the way. So when they, even before come into the class, they are actually change makers. This is the mindset that I was talking about. Like in my context, seeing it visibly And you know how we always say, if you are if you are told that you are a change maker for so many times, you actually have, or you actually become. And in this case, the kids are already change makers. And I think sometimes as adults, we stop them. So that's where I think we need to start leading with them. And book choices. I think this is also really important because books aren't just about literacy. They're about representation, empowerment, and inspiration. This is just like a one shot of my library where I think when we're selecting books as teachers, we really need to be intentional about including stories and voices. So the kids can become change makers, and the kids can learn about different stories. As I said, because this is how the Changemaker classroom look like. So learning walls are really important. I just want to shout out to Jessica how I started my learning walls. A learning wall is different than a display where the kids actually create. This is their space. So give them the space to join or to be a part of this room, because this is where their ideas start and then they become and turn into action. So what does a change maker classroom sound like? I mean, these are some of the things that I love hearing from learners. Like, I wonder, or can we share this with the community? Let's include everyone's voice, or let's reflect on what we could do differently next time. So as you can see, I think the teacher voice, the teacher mindset shifts from what do you think we should try? Or how can I support you in this idea, instead of saying this is what we're going to do. So I become a core learner with them, and I'm just a thinking partner with them. So again, these are a few strategies that really work in my classes. Having an action board is something, not a requirement of IB, by the way, but it's something that makes action visible. So the kids start, as you can see on my action board, I do have some kids totally unrelated to PYP inquiry that we're doing, but when we make them visible, they actually get more inspiration from each other. These small post-its, one of them actually says that while playing Roblox, someone said something not inclusive and he reported it. So this is an amazing action. Just celebrating this as a community makes them think and makes them become more and more change makers. So as you can see, this is like this kid created her own discrimination notice board because that's what she noticed. And the only thing that I did as a teacher was that I just gave space for them to create, or space for them to add. Another one that I did this year is, as again, I am a part of the Sustainable Development Goals where we've been implementing in our curriculum. So I created, if you want to scan, you can scan the, it's a free document. I created Sustainable Development Goals calendar where, again, regardless of what my topic is, the kids actually know what are some important international days, and they even add their own so that they can see that they can actually even like come up with their own actions. And again, this should definitely be what we are hearing in the corridors. Kids coming up with protests, or kids coming up with their own ideas and making their voices heard. Again, in one of our Sharing the Planet units, we had, I love making connections in our school community. So I heard that there are a couple of high school students who are actually working on climate action. So we invited them to become our experts and to become our inspirers, to be honest. So our kids listened to them and they were super excited. And as a teacher, I was expecting like, okay, after this, we're going to have more kids working on this. And yes, they were excited, but to our disappointment, as a teacher, I want to share this disappointment with you because I want to point out where change doesn't always happen when you as a teacher want. So nothing happened after the presentation, okay? So they just, of course, they were inspired, but none of the students actually took action visibly. So a month later, a student of grade 4, not even mine, it just said, send an email without us. And thankfully, those lovely high school students actually CC'd me saying, I loved it and I want to be with you. How can you help me? So this came a month later, not the time that I expected as a teacher. So this lovely child, thanks to them and with their inspiration, created her own Fearless Fridays. Of course, getting inspiration from Greta Thunberg, but at the same time, our school. She created her own protest. And every Friday, as a teacher, the only thing that I did was give her space. So, and again, Global Schools program is definitely everyone should have a look. It's a free and it's a lovely community that you can actually involve yourself more with sustainable development goals. And what we have done is we connected our units with SDGs so that the kids can become more change makers. This was another activity where we did readathon. As I said, I'm an English teacher. So during one of our How We Express Ourselves units, we said, why don't we ask our parents as a community to be like sponsoring our students to read? So our students can actually see through reading, they can make a change. So for 15 days, they read and sponsored by their parents. This wasn't mandatory, by the way. And at the end of 15 days, if they were able to reach out their goals, their parents donated money to different charities, which created such a big awareness. And through that, they actually even learned so many different charities. So what does it feel like? I mean, I know these are all connected. It's not like separate the sounds or feels or things like, but I think the feeling of a community is so important, where your classroom should be the safe, welcoming space for everyone to feel belonged and valued, so that students can feel empowered to be themselves. So it needs to have a culture of trust and collaboration, and differences should be celebrated, I think. So this is again another initiation from not my students only, but started with mine and became a whole school activity where during the recess time, they wanted to, one of my students had a shout out that he wanted to do something about climate change. And all the other grade 1, 2, 3 students actually came to help him. So again, it's all about being intentional and giving them space and making students feel seen, heard, valued, and supported, because the only thing that they need is that, because they already have all these amazing ideas. And with my colleague Ryan Porter, again, shout out to him, who has been a great supporter for me throughout all of this learning journey. We created a Changemakers Club. And as you can see, our change, and you can see from the earthquake, this is not Gemini, this is not an AI tool that made a mistake. This is actually genuine student work. So we created Changemakers Club, where we just said, anyone who wants to make a change, and anyone who are not our students, and of course some of them were our students as well, please use this time to come up with your own project. And as teachers, we just provided them the things that they needed. So one thing that they focused on was beach cleanup. They actually they wanted to make a change about trash. And they created their own barefoot day. So during that time, unfortunately, we had earthquake in Turkey, and they collected shoes so that they can send it to the communities that they needed, and they all done it by themselves. So we turned it into a barefoot day where they made art with it. They had a run barefoot so that they could also empathize, and then they created earthquake bags. So another one is a Who We Are unit, where this is how their voice was heard. So as John was saying in the beginning, I'm a true believer of making mistakes and a growth mindset. So one of our units is connected to growth mindset. I mean, we connected it to growth mindset. And so our students have written their mistake stories, or a time where they were challenged by themselves, or where they had a mistake, or where everyone thought it was a mistake, or where they actually felt that they couldn't get out of that situation. So our English goal was to write a personal narrative. So we just turned it into an action by putting all the fourth graders' writings into a magazine. And now it's in our library. So everyone can hear or everyone can get inspiration from their mistakes. This year we're running Echo Team, and again, it's totally voluntarily. It actually came from a couple of kids who said, I want to work with you on some things, and then we said, okay, why don't we actually create? We were inspired by our preschool, to be honest. So what we're doing in Echo Team is that volunteer kids come and they create their projects, and we actually try to help them on how they can make it happen. So we're just giving them space, basically. And again, think like, as you have already seen, how we're thinking. But I think a change maker classroom is a hub for real world thinking. So it's a space where they can become global citizens, or they can actually be open-minded. And that idea of ownership of their learning, and the belief that I can make a difference. I can help make this space, make this world a better place, starting from where I am to a bigger community. And their problems are not overseen, but their problems are being shared with everyone so that they can collectively solve. So this year, something that we did, which was unbelievable, was thank you very much again, another shout out to Daniela. So the right of every child, we actually, and as a teacher, our unit was how we organize ourselves, and we focused on children's rights so that they can organize themselves based on it. And I just randomly found this Rights of Every Child website, where there's this lovely group of people that actually curate so many artists around the world who actually make art pieces representing children's rights. So I randomly wrote to her, and I said, can we please have a connection with you? So as you can see, we actually did connect, and Daniela gave us a presentation, and we actually worked on different ways. And then one of my students said, I wish my work was out there as well. And that's where I was like, okay, how can I make it happen? So I again connected with Daniela saying, is it possible? And she was so nice to make it possible. So now when you actually go into their website, you can see our students, fourth graders, children's rights advocates, advocating for their rights through art. So nothing is impossible, is what I got from this experience. And again, I'm a grade 4 teacher. So in Turkey, this is their last year of PYP. And I'm just going to give a couple of more examples from the PYPX exhibition. Then I'll finish it up. So one group that I mentored was working on gender equality. And as you can see, it's a bilingual one, because the kids actually choose. If you are not familiar with PYPX, exhibition is where the students choose their own topic to take action and to research. It's a long process. So a group who wanted to work on gender equality, we actually, with a colleague of mine, Devrim, again, shout out to her, we mentored this group. And in this group, they actually wanted to focus on different things. Again, within one big topic, they can find their own passion, because if it's not their passion, then it becomes something you push as a teacher. So this lovely child who actually wanted to focus on colors, like the gender, gender of colors, which shouldn't exist. So as you can see, he actually created a model where it's all covered with gender-based or gender-biased words so that they can create awareness. And they actually made flyers so that people can change, because we do have some words that are gender biased, so that they can change their language. And as you can see, they noticed, which is something that I hadn't noticed, that our bathrooms, toilets are actually girls for pink and boys for blue. So they wanted to change it. They wrote a petition. They actually talked to the school and they wanted to change some things. Did they change it eventually? Unfortunately, not really, because it was a very foundational thing that the school said construction-wise not possible. But they didn't stop there. They came up with some ideas. They said, then what if we actually put big posters, and they should actually represent even gender equality? So they also said some of the things which in this group, I never thought that we could actually go on a field trip. It came from the kids again. They said, we see gender biases in shops, especially in toy shops. So we made a field trip to the very close shopping mall, and they started taking and collecting evidence. And again, this all happened because we listened to the students and because they were feeling safe enough to share any ideas with us. And this was, again, another PYPX group where they focused on climate change. And as you can see, different groups focused on different things. And one group actually made seed bombs, and another group, they focused on, they went on plugging, and one group actually focused on space pollution. And I was like, okay, as a mentor, I really don't know how I can help them, because I'm not actually sure that I know. And in PYPX, this is also a learning experience for teachers. So what they did was they actually, we connected with a professor in one of the universities about space debris, and they learned about her. They actually created a song list where they gave some information about space debris, because it's not something that they can make a change that moment, but they said, okay, we can't actually make a change, but we can make kids aware of it. So this is how they came up with action. They created games, and it's, again, always giving them that space so that they can actually take action. One thing, another shout out is, if you haven't actually heard about Upschool, Upschool is a website that I actually use, and it's all related to SDGs. Please have a look at it. It really gives agency to your students. And this is, like, in a short, a roadmap to agency for me. Just because my brain works like this, just wanted to turn it into a very clear visual. And these are a few of the books that I am interested in and that I have actually used or I'm still using for my learning. And this is all from me. So far. Yes.
My microphone on again. Yeah, clearly. Thanks for that. I have to say, I worked in States for a couple of years, and one thing that struck me over there was how decorative the elementary and middle school classrooms were, and I'm really amazed. I didn't think any school could top Albemarle County, but I think your school has there's so much decoration and material on the walls, which really brings it up, because, like, in Ireland, our walls are pretty much kind of bare the whole time. So that was really, really great to see.
Thank you very
much. There has been a couple of questions kind of been answered in the thing. So if anybody has any questions, they can just throw them in now. We can kind of pick them up while we wait for the spotlight. So you can take a drink of water now and kind of take a deep breath. So we're going to the spotlight now. So this year we want to highlight some incredible stories from around the globe of how educators are making a global impact in their classrooms. Our pre-recorded spotlight is Wally Lucky Do from the United States, and he's going to explore the topic of money secrets, listening to students to elevate instruction and relationships. So enjoy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Wally T. Luckydo, and I'm a personal finance teacher at Smyrna High School in Smyrna, Tennessee, in the United States of America. I'm excited to share my spotlight story, Money Secret, Elevating Human Stories. Money connects all of us, every person, whether a preschooler saving coins in a piggy bank, an elementary student managing an allowance, a high school student working a part-time job, a college student juggling bills, a young professional navigating debt, or someone preparing for retirement. One thing is common with all those people. They're all carrying a money secret. A money secret is a private, often unspoken experience, behavior, or emotion connected to money. It doesn't matter the currency, the culture, or the country. The emotions and decisions around money are universal. Money Secret is a project that is designed to bring hidden truths about money into the open that are safe and anonymous. Everyone has a story about money. Some involve pride, generosity, or achievement. Others involve stress, fear, mistakes, or uncertainty. These experiences shape how we spend, save, and think about money. When we explore them, we uncover the human side of financial behavior. By sharing money secrets, we create empathy, reflection, and understanding. So let me tell you a little bit about how Money Secret works. To make participation accessible, I rented a P.O. box where people can mail in their money secrets on postcards. Submissions can also be made online. So when someone submits online, I use artificial intelligence to generate an image representing the secret. What is important is the words are never changed and the person's message stays exactly how it is written and submitted. In my classroom, students first imagine a money secret that someone else might have, and then they draw it. Then we do a gallery walk with those drawings where students observe the drawings and they discuss with one another what they notice. They look for similar themes or things that might be common when dealing with money secrets. So at the end of the lesson, students can create their own anonymous money secret. So there are positive and negative money secrets. So money secrets are not all about shame. They're about honesty and understanding. Some secrets reveal financial challenges such as overspending on entertainment, gambling, anxiety, about saving, bankruptcy. Then other secrets reveal positive financial behaviors, things like saving for a goal, budgeting carefully, or helping family members during tough times. So by exploring these experiences, students see that financial behavior is deeply human. It is shaped by their upbringing, their culture, opportunity, and their own personal experiences. Often people realize they are not alone in how they feel about money. Money is personal and emotions are universal. One of the most powerful aspects of Money Secret is how these stories can cross borders. People from different cultures and socioeconomic backgrounds may live very different lives, yet the emotions surrounding money are universal. Fear, hope, pride, stress, ambition. Could be a student in Tennessee, a young professional in another country, or a retiree across the world may experience very similar struggles or successes with money. This reminds us that money is not only about numbers, it's about people and their stories. So this is about bringing Money Secrets into the classroom. In my classroom, Money Secret helps students explore the emotional and behavioral side of personal finance, which is something that's often left out. At the beginning of the course, students draw what they believe someone else's money secret might be. Then, as I mentioned before, we do a gallery walk. They have their own discussions. And then as a class, we talk about what they had discussed, what common things people talked about, and things that we notice and have observed. And then we share different things with one another. And then later, students create their own money secret that are anonymous, and they'll put them in a box across the room for me, which I'm their teacher, so they'll put it across the room from their teacher. And then these insights will guide the rest of the semester for me. So, for example, if students reveal fears about saving, we spend more time exploring saving strategies and goal setting. This activity really creates a safe environment for reflection while connecting financial decisions to real human experiences. So, Money Secret, the big picture, there's power in this project. The Money Secret project creates a safe space where people can reflect and share their experience with money. Through anonymous submissions, classroom activities, and creative expression, people explore emotions and behaviors that are often remain hidden when we talk about finances. Each secret contributes to a deeper understanding of how money shapes our lives, decisions, and the relationships that we all form. Every story becomes part of a growing collection of human experiences that help us understand financial behavior, empathy, and diverse perspectives that people have about money. If you have a money secret or something about money you need to get off your chest, you're invited to participate. You can share your money secret anonymously at moneysecret.net or mail a postcard to Money Secret, P.O. Box 158, Smyrna, Tennessee 37167. Every story matters. Every secret counts. By sharing a money secret, you help elevate human stories and contribute to understanding how money affects our lives. Together, we can continue elevating human stories one money secret at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally, for that. So thanks again for joining this live session as part of the Global Impact Virtual Conference. From our whole global team, we are so grateful for your participation. Please continue with us today at Global Impact by joining the next live session, which comes up at the top of the hour. You can find out more information about our live presenters on our website, which is globalimpacteducators.org. Our next presenter is Namia Yoshi from Finland, and the session begins at the top of the hour. We would also like to invite you to join us at the 2026 ISD conference. So whether you're joining live or virtually, we have content for you. We will have sessions and a group meetup. Please make sure to follow us on social media for more details, launching soon. We also have a discount code for you as well. Use the code in the chat, which will be there in a second, by May 1st when registering, and you'll get $25 off for a virtual registration. So thank you, ISD, for that little gem. So lastly, follow us on social media. We're on most of the major channels at Global Impact Educators. And as I said before, you can find us on our website at globalimpacteducators.org. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you.